Well, to start off tonight's broadcast, we have a question on email from Ben. He says, can sin utilize our emotions with the thoughts that it puts in our mind to make us think and feel as though we are the source of them? This applies to thoughts that say, I don't need God's grace, I don't need God's forgiveness, or feelings of pride that come with those thoughts. It is immediately followed by overwhelming fear and a sense of urgency to correct both, and then doubt follows that. Doubt that I'm even saved. This has been a struggle of mine for the last 17 years, in varying intensity, but more so lately. Any insight will be helpful. Well, Ben, thank you so much for sharing some of your experience. And my thoughts are this: first, yes, a sin is a power. We live in a fallen world, and this agent called sin is a principle or a power. If you look in Vine's expository dictionary of New Testament words, this sin principle, known as hamartia, in the Greek, well, it can work its way into our lives in so many different ways, whether it's in our thoughts or in our feelings. The power of sin is certainly present. Now, it's interesting that you talk about this way, Ben. This idea that the power of sin can express itself with first-person thoughts: I, me, and my. I don't need grace. My life is okay without God. I don't need God's forgiveness. I'm scared that I'm even not even saved. These sort of thoughts can come to us in first person singular pronouns. So sin can offer us any thought at any time. Whether we voice those thoughts or not, the assumption will be that this thought is coming from me, that it's coming from my mind, that it's coming from my heart. And the reality is, no, it is coming from a power that is not you, a power called sin. That's why we need to know that we are dead to sin and alive to God. So we can say, I am dead to that thought. That thought is not who I am. And that thought is not coming from me. And as we make that declaration, as we make that choice to ignore that thought, to count ourselves dead to it, well, we can also count ourselves alive to the truth. Going back and looking at each of these, what is the truth? The truth is, I'm entirely dependent on God's grace. I always need God's forgiveness. And certainly, there's no reason to doubt salvation. If he said that he was standing at that door knocking and I opened the door, then he says he'll never leave me, never forsake me, and nothing separates me from the love of God. So you see, truth can replace error, and I can choose to set my mind on the truth of the gospel instead of giving in to sin's messages. So, Ben, I hope that's helpful to you. If you'd like further information on this, we have a book, and it's called The Hurt and the Healer. And in that book, I talk about sin being a power, a principle. Bart Millard and I wrote this book together to help people when temptation seems to rule, when guilt is overwhelming. So if you're experiencing condemnation and temptation left, right, and center, and you want to learn more about what it means to say no to a power, a principle, an agent called sin, and say yes to who you really are, well, this book, The Hurt and the Healer, may be of some help to you. Hey, Ben, thanks for your email tonight. Great to hear from you.